On this episode, we are going to be going through Session 0. That's right, this is the one where we find out who exactly our hapless characters are. That's what's coming up right now on this episode of the Cheapskate Gamer.
You will enter the theme music here or you will be exterminated!
Hello Internet, welcome to the Cheapskate Gamer. I am once again your host, Steve Rogers. Yes, this is my real name, and while I do think I am pretty old at this point, I'm not so old that I'm a World War II veteran. Alright, so this is Session 0. What are we doing in this particular episode of the Cheapskate Gamer? We're going to be trying to figure out who our characters are. And, we have no idea what kind of campaign we're going to be going through, but before we can even do that, we got to figure out who is our protagonists, who are our heroes. And that's what we're going to be getting into right now. So first of all, we got to say I forgot my box. I've got it out. I've already got it open, ready to go. We're going to start off here. I got to get my rule sets here that I'm going to need for today. The big one I'm going to be using for today is this one. This is my generic general character creation reference. Now, as I mentioned in previous episodes, I've got 3 different character creation routines within that tiny little tray right there. 3 different ones, and there are bits and pieces that you get from each one of them. They're all very actually useful in a pinch. But if you're wanting something like a really well-developed character right off the bat, none of them really do the trick by themselves. I have found that I can augment them with one another, and to do that, I went ahead and wrote a general routine. So this is one of my 10 guides that I have here in the tray. So the main one of this whole process is going to be the character creation reference here. Now, this is my own procedure, so I will go ahead and put it on screen for you guys, and I will read along to these words right here. So what that one says is that when you were creating characters, we're going to begin with a one-page solo engine. There is an NPC generation routine in that. We're going to augment that with UNE. This is the Universal NPC Emulator. This is a free download. You can look it up online. It's a great tool, general tool if you're going to create a character on a real quick hurry. I'll probably be using that one to be making NPCs at some point or another. We're going to finish it up with a couple of descriptors from the Mythic system. I'm going to use 3 Mythic descriptors. These will be things from the Mythic GM Emulator deck. The deck, of course, is as opposed to regular Mythic, the deck has a second word list that's contained within, and I call them adjectives and adverbs. So to describe something, you have an adverb-adjective pair. So, and you can tell they're all, we'll go back to Schoolhouse Rock. All of the adverbs in that deck end in ly. So that's how we kill that. We're going to use 2 mythic events to determine a quirk and a flaw. This is just something that gives a little extra extra flavor to the characters. And then we're going to be using the ID portion of the OPSE NPC generator to determine whatever the character's background is, and the modifier now to determine what the character is now. We're going to use 3 UNE motivation modifiers and nouns to determine the character's motivations, ideals, and bonds. And I just have to remember there's one rule from UNE is that whenever you're talking about motivations, the column that gets involved with the noun from that the motivation set, they're supposed to be different for each one. So that's just a reminder to myself that I might need to make a few rerolls when we get to that particular point. So once we've done all that, that's when we select our race, we select our class, we'll select a gender. If needed, we're going to stat out the character. Of course, we're going to need to stat out our characters, and we kind of know exactly how good they're going to be. And we're going to use whatever system rules are being utilized. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive straight into our main character. Now, in order to use a one-page solo engine, I am going to have to use the deck of cards for this, so let's go ahead and get these shuffled here real quick. Alright, 7 riffles later, let's go ahead and get these cut. And let's go ahead and get it over into the tray, that way we can begin telling what our character is going to be. Okay, so now, when we're dealing with the one-page solo engine, the first thing that we are going to be doing is we're going to go ahead and draw a card. This is going to determine our character's current identity. So we drew the 7 of clubs, and according to these chart, the 7 of clubs is going to be our character who used to be a merchant. Okay, well that's kind of interesting. He has a mercantile background. The club itself, the way that one-page solar engine works is that each of the 4 suits has got a domain involved with it. It's either going to be something that's going to be physical, if it's like a clubs, physical appearance or existence. With diamonds, it's going to be technical, mental, or operation. With spades, mystical meaning or capability, and with hearts, social, personal, and connection. So if anything that I come up with for this character is unclear, the next thing I can do is move on to the card domain and see what that kind of generates for us. In this case, 7 of clubs, merchant, and that's going to be physical appearance or existence. So I either had the appearance of a merchant, the existence, I existed as a merchant, or some kind of physical merchant of some kind. So he was a merchant. That's interesting. Okay, that's a good way of starting out, because I don't think any of the classes really lend themselves well to being mercantile. What is my character's overall goal? He has an overarching goal in his life. This one would be worth big experience points if we ever get it done. The goal that I drew, 6 of spades. Okay, so the 6 of spades on the chart here is he is trying to find something. Okay, so the find and the spades is mystical meaning or capability. So it says he's trying to find some kind of capability. Okay, so that's either, it's not necessarily learning something some kind of knowledge that can be taught. That's a different type of goal, but he's trying to find something. Okay, whatever. Detail focus. Detail focus is yet another card. So we'll go back to the deck and we get the 10 of clubs. And the 10 of clubs, according to the chart, is going to be, his detail is specialized. Specialized, and once again, this is some kind of physical appearance, existence sort of thing. So some kind of specialized appearance. Well, I would certainly hope if, with the determination of whatever it is that's going to be the detail focus, if I went ahead and finished the procedure, I was supposed to roll how much, I was supposed to roll a d6 for the notable feature to speak exactly what type of thing it was. So we'll just a quick little d6 roll, and that comes up as a 1. So the notable feature, according to the one-page solo engine, is, this is helpful, unremarkable. Unremarkable gets specialized and physical. Okay, so unremarkable, physical, and specialized. Okay, so if this person was a merchant, I would say that probably he's got some kind of really conspicuous kind of like pouch or something like that he would be keeping like money in or something like that. This would have to have some kind of, this is some kind of notable feature about this character. So I don't know, maybe, most people would carry around 1, maybe he carries around 2. I mean, that's something we can deal with whenever we get to that particular part of the character creation process. Alright, so that's what we know about this character up to this point. That he has a background as a merchant, and it was probably something he was trying to, he was a merchant at one time. He's trying to find some kind of capability within his life. That's something we're probably going to need to determine the specifics of. And then he has some notable but unremarkable specialized physical equipment, which we are going to say is a couple of extra coin pouches. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next portion of the process. This is going to be moving on to the mythic descriptors. This is going to be to determine the personality. So let me go ahead and pull up, go ahead and grab my mythic GM emulator reference. This one right here. I'm going to turn it to the pages on adverbs and adjectives. So that's this, this one right here. We have a whole list of them. Just like the events in Mythic, it's going to be based on 2D percentile rolls, and each percentile roll comes up with a different word meaning. So let's see what we have here for number 1. Okay, personality trait number 1 is 59. That is going to be judgmentally 84. Judgmentally ruined. Oh, okay. So this guy is judgmentally ruined. Okay, well that says to me that he probably has. He is a merchant. He's probably hit himself on bad times at some point or another. that's one aspect of his personality. Let's go after number 2 here real quick. Let me go ahead and retrieve my dice from the tray. And let's go for number 2. Okay, 65. We have loudly, and 67. Loudly military. Okay, loudly military. Loudly military? Oh my goodness, as a merchant. Okay, so loudly military. Perhaps he was a specialist in the sale of military equipment. Maybe he was an arms merchant at one time or another, and that might explain why he would have knowledge of the necessary tools and equipment you would need to go adventuring in the first place. So that makes sense. We'll go ahead and move on. Third aspect of this guy's personality. Okay, so here we go. Get my dice. Now we have 13. 13 is carefully. Whoop, and I farkled. Carefully, 86. Carefully scary. Carefully scary. Okay. Okay. Loudly military with carefully scary. Maybe he had to deal a lot with drill sergeants. That's about the only thing I can think of off the top of my head. Okay, well, he's probably gone in a gruff manner then. Alright, well, that's his personality. Let's move on to mythic events to determine a quirk and a flaw. Now, this is the standard stuff that you would find in your regular Mythic GM emulator. This is going to be a verb-noun pair. So let's see. Let's go ahead and roll the dice. Okay, 07. Violate. This is a quirk. Violate 48. Violate success. Violate success as a quirk. Oh my god. Okay, so possibly, this guy was very aggressive as a merchant, and he had a tendency to undercut the business of his competitors. That's about the only thing I can think of off the top of my head. We'll run with it. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. Let's go for the flaw. This is going to be another mythic event. So let's roll the dice again. You know what? I have 3 different sets of D percentile here. I'm going to use. I have my purple set of dice right here, which I'm going to go ahead and use these for the noun, and the ones I have been rolling, we'll go ahead and use for the verb. And, I don't know why I've started this. Didn't do this from the beginning. I could have had everything going a lot faster. Okay. So the verb I have for the flaw, 91. Pursue, 88. Pursue illusions. Pursue illusions as a flaw. Okay, so pursue illusions as a flaw. Maybe he has a tendency to go after business deals that, whether or not they seem valid to him or not. If he has a nose for business, maybe he's a little bit greedy and he wants to go after things. He wants to have the opportunity to make money. Well, he's going to go ahead and take the opportunity to make money. All right, well, that's going to start that for that part. Okay, so now we use the ID portion of the OPSE generator to determine the character's background. The UNE modifier noun. Okay, the UNE modifier noun to determine what our character is now. We know that he had a background as a merchant. So we're going to use UNE. Let me pull that up here real quick to determine. Once again, this is a different set of words, but it's the same principle. So I'm going to do like I did before. The modifier is going to be on my clearish dice, and the noun's going to be on the purple dice. So let me go ahead and pull these out of the tray real quick, and let's roll. Okay, so we have 85 and 7. 85. 85 and 7. He is a destitute ranger. Well, that kind of gives us our class of the character now at this point. He's going to be a ranger. Okay, so that actually fills in one piece of information that we needed to have solved out at one point or another. Destitute suggests to me, of course, that he is definitely fallen on hard times, probably through making bad business decisions, and so he is kind of on the run at this point. All right. Let's see, une motivation modifier nouns to determine character's motivation / ideals / bonds. Okay, this is once again, I'm going back to my general reference. We're going to do motivation, verb, motivation, noun. So the nouns once again is going to be in purple. So let's figure out what our character's motivations are. Alright. So let's see, that is 5 and 80. He likes to oppress patience. Oppress patience. Oh God. Our man is not a patient person. Okay, that's 1. Number 2. He wants his stuff, he wants it now. Not willing to wait. 59 and 98. Okay, so is this in the second column? This is in a different column, so yes, this is a valid roll. 59. Institute. 98. Institute old religions. Why would you want to do that? Institute old religions. Okay, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of... I'm going to have to think on that one. What kind of old religions would he want to institute? I mean, the only thing I can think of is that there's some deity that involves the creation of wealth, and that's something that he would like to try to reinstate at some point for whatever reason. Okay, whatever. Okay, final motivation. Let's go ahead and get that rolled out. This is turning out to be an interesting start to the campaign. Well, as I tell my son all the time, interesting is subjective, you know, and that's about the truth. I mean, I'm sure you people are all bored by this at this point. Okay, so 85 is the verb. Okay, and the final, I can't actually read that because it's in the shadow there. So what is that, 61? That is 61, but that does fall in the same category as our first one, so I have to re-roll that. So we're going to have to re-roll. 85 is good, so I'll keep that one as is. I'm going to try to keep it out of the way here. 88, that's still in the same, that's in the same set of columns as that last one. So let's see. Okay, 07. 8507. So 85 is access, and 7 access access opulence. Okay, well, I mean, this ties in pretty much everything. Dude wants to be rich. Okay, great, awesome. So I've got myself a cheapskate, don't I? Well, not really a cheapskate, but you know, certainly some kind of spendthrift dude who's been hard on his luck. Okay, so we have all that. We have that. All right. So, okay. Well, that part's all done. Great, excellent. We're ready to go. Ready to get ready to start with the rest of the process here. So we need to stat out our character. We have a ranger. So I have the ranger statistics. This is actually part of the expert rules guide. So let's see. In Microwave 20, rangers have a whole bunch of stuff. They get proficiency in physical or knowledge. I get my choice of which of those two I would like to have my proficiency in. Since my guy who used to be a merchant, I think a proficiency in knowledge makes more sense for him. I also get proficiency in strength or dexterity saves. Pick one. I think dexterity makes more sense for this guy, but we'll find out whenever we get to that point. He also has proficiency in medium armor and shields. He'll get some extra attacks at level 5 and level 11. Let's see, there's some superiority dice at level 4. We're starting level 1, so that doesn't come into play right now. Let's see, anything else? There's a whole bunch of rules here regarding the Rangers. I think it might be easier for me to just post them up here on the screen. And the big one for right now is that he'll start off with equipment. He will start off with scale mail, 1 weapon with ammunition if applicable, 10 gold, and a fastback. Now, because we determined through the earlier character creation process that he is destitute, I'm inclined to say that we're probably going to start him off with a little bit less money than we would ordinarily. But let's go ahead and stat him out. I'm going to go ahead and begin my 4d6 rolls to determine what his statistics are. So let's go ahead and get these over here. Now, what I like to do And I'll explain this process as I go. Here's our first number. Okay, so it's it's 46. Toss out the lowest number. So the 1, of course, is the lowest number. So that's the one's going to get tossed out, and we're left with a score of 13. Rather than just throw this number out entirely, though, I like to use these to determine my starting funding. So what we'll do here is I'll keep track of the total of those as I go along. But first things first, we have at least one score of 13. So, okay, so we're going to do that. Let's go ahead and get going the other 2 rolls. And this one's going to be, that's a 10 plus another mark. So I have 10, and then I have two extra marks here. And then the final roll is, okay, I have a 15 and 1 mark. So 3 marks total. So 3 marks total. And then I'm going to go ahead and roll this die, 1 dice. And this is actually being rolled as a D3, so that counts as a 2. So ordinarily, the way it would work for me at that last dice, I would count that as multiply whatever number of marks you got times a certain amount of platinum. If it was, if D3 roll, if it was 1, you multiply by 20. If it was 2, you divide it. You would multiply it by 30. If it's a 3, you would multiply it by 40. So ordinarily, this would be, we had 3 marks, and we would add that to, we would multiply that by 30 because we got a D2 on that one. So we would start this character off with 60 pieces of gold. Now, however, since this guy is destitute, we're going to say that he started off with half that amount. He started off with 30 pieces of gold. Now, if I'm looking at the beginning package for a ranger, the beginning package costs 60. So we're going to start him off with no money whatsoever. We will go ahead and start him off with everything that he's doing in his package. Really, the big thing I was trying to determine with the money was what kind of weapon we could give him. He's not going to have any extra money to spend, so it's going to be a light weapon. So, fun thing about Microlight 20 is that you have the ability to improvise your weapons, and that's this part of the equipment and loot guide. It's this page. It's this page right here. All right, we have a ranger that our character is going to be, and we've determined that he can't afford anything better than a single light weapon. Okay, so for a ranger, a light weapon, it's improvised. Doesn't really matter what kind of weapon it is. It's going to be capable of doing 1d8 damage. So I have to now determine which skills, where I'm going to put this character's skills. Let's see, we had a 15, we had a 10, and a 13. We have a ranger. I mean, there's not really any particular reason for him to be able to cast magic. So I'm going to give the 15 in dexterity, and that's going to give him, well, we didn't need to get to that point too. We still need to determine the race. I'm going to put the 10 in mind, and we're going to put the 13 in strength. Okay, so 13 in strength. All right, and now, next bit, we got to determine the race. This is actually part of the where is it? My general creation routine. That's had to list down there at the bottom. Now, Microlight 25th Adamantine, I've explained this before as well, really only has 4 races in it. If humans, you have smart races, fast races, and strong races. And, I call bologna sauce on that because, I really do like the idea of there being some kind of difference between a dwarf and a dragonborn, or between an elf and a gnome. I mean, that's just, why have so many races if there's not going to be any real difference with them? Plus, also in Microlight 25th Adamantine, the only thing that race determines is the statistical adjustments. So I'm going to be using the list that I had for the original Microlight 20 system, the 3.5 type version, because I don't see any particular reason not to use that. To determine the race, this is going to be a D20 roll. I may need to make an additional roll depending on what comes up on this D20 roll, but we're going to start off with just basic D20 and see what happens. And yep, 7. According to this, my guide. 7 is a dwarf. So, our character is going to be a Dwarven Ranger. A Dwarven Ranger with a background as a merchant. So, and the bonus for a dwarf is +2 strength, and as I've explained in my previous videos, because race counts for nothing besides the stat bonus, and because there are no feats in Michael 20, this is an adjustment to the bonus. It is not an adjustment to the score. Ordinarily it would be, and it would, you know. So we set his strength at 13. That's going to be a +1 bonus, but because he's a dwarf, he gets the +2. Therefore, his strength bonus is +3. Dexterity is at 15, so that's going to be a +2 bonus. And mine is at 0, so mine is at 10, so that's going to be a 0 bonus. All right, well, I think that's about to do it for our main character. I think. Oh, that's very important. We haven't figured out his name yet. Okay, well, to pull a name, I actually do have a small name list, and it's actually within the equipment and loot guide, and that's the reason why it's there is because there is a general random dungeon generation routine. You can see over here on. I am so bad at pointing at this stuff. It's over here on this this side of the guide that we have actually a set of names, a name list. And it's a very basic onomasticon. D12 to determine a root and a prefix. But you know, I've kind of I've pulled some strings with this, and I know there are a couple of rules with regard to onomastics and the application of surnames. So this is going to actually be quite expanded out quite a lot. But let's go ahead and start with a basic name. For this, I'm going to need 2d12. Let's see. I'll use the purple. I have the purple dice once again. I'll use that as the suffix. So let's figure out what the character's given name is. Okay, that is an 8 and a 3. So our character is male. It is an 8 and a 3. His name is Parastyr. P-E-R-A-S-T-Y-R. Now, what's his surname? Okay, to determine his surname, that's going to be, this is back to my general character creation routine. It's going to be a D8 roll, so let's figure out what it is going to be. D8 roll, a 3. 3 is, okay, well, that's easy enough. A 3 is his occupation. Parastyr the Merchant, Dwarven Ranger. Excellent. Okay, that's one character down. We got one character to go, and I'm noting just exactly how long this video is getting, so we're going to rush through the second part, okay? Ready? Here we go. Identity. 7 of spades. That's going to be, well, he's another merchant, but this one's a mystical merchant. Goal. Obtain. Obtain, and this is another mystical meaning or capability, so perhaps his major goal is to try to obtain some kind of, well, we've determined this guy's a merchant too, so maybe he's trying to obtain a particular magical item of some kind. Notable feature? 4. 4, that's a quirk or a mannerism. Okay, and then we need to get the details of that quirk or mannerism. The Jack of Clubs. Unexpected. Quirk or mannerism. Unexpected quirk or mannerism. Maybe we can get a little few more details when we actually roll up the quirk portion of that. Personality rolls. 53-17. Innocently defeated. Okay, innocently defeated. So it's 76. Well, 76-76. Nicely poor. Neither of these guys have made any money as merchants. 81-12. Peacefully colorful. Okay, well, that's peacefully colorful. Okay, well, I have no idea what to do with that one off the top of my head. A quirk and a flaw. And our roll is, what is that? 77-19. Deceive new ideas. Oh, dude does not like new thoughts. Okay, well, that could be an interesting way of, that could be something that comes up during the course of our campaign. You know, deceive new ideas. Maybe he's not a particular fan of the sciences. Who knows? Okay. 45-46. Celebrate food. Oh, he's a glutton. That's a kind of a nice little touch to our character right there. He's not going to be missing too many meals. Okay, so next up we switch over to Une, determine what the character is now, as opposed to what he used to be. He used to be a merchant, just like our main guy here. Alright, so that is 0962. 962. Our sidekick character is a skilled crook. Yes, that is exactly what I just rolled, which suggests to me that once again, it's going to help determine what our character class is going to be. We're going to make this guy a rogue. Since he's a sidekick, technically that would make him an expert, but we'll still do most of the same rogue sort of things. All right, next up, our motivations. 8018. Seek strength. Seek strength. Okay, well, he wants to be motivated to become stronger. Okay, excellent. Next, 9363. Execute envy. Execute envy. Oh man. Okay, so dude gets pretty jealous for various reasons. Okay, whatever. 6552. So that's within the third column. I don't have to re-roll that one. 6552. 65 is learn. 52, learn peace. Okay, dude always wants to learn about peaceful ways of handling things, which I suppose is important if you're a thief. Okay, race, class, gender. So, already determined the class. This character is going to be an expert. Not quite a rogue, but an expert instead. Let's go ahead and stat him out. 15 and 2 marks. 10 and 1 mark. And that last one is 13 and 2 marks. So we wound up with scores of, same as our main character, we wound up with scores of 13, 15, and 10. And we wound up with a total of 5 marks. 200 gold to begin his life as a rogue /expert. Okay, so then I'm going to check out the main, for this is a basic class. I would have needed to pick a basic class for this character anyway, because he's a sidekick. I don't go with, I only had the choice of the 4 basic classes for the sidekick. It just happened to work out that's the particular way it works. Okay, so his starting pack would have cost 50, even with the fast pack that the most expensive one that would only cost another 20. 70, he had 200, so 130 gold for left over for the selection of a weapon. So he's going to be a rogue. We're going to give him a ranged weapon. Of course, this will be a two-handed ranged weapon, but that doesn't really matter anyway. A rogue with a ranged weapon does 1d8 damage. We still need to figure out the race. So let's go ahead and roll that. Our sidekick is a gnome. A gnome receives +1 to dexterity and +1 to mind. So we're going to add 1 to dexterity and mind. We're dealing with a rogue again, so I'm going to set the same set of scores as I did for my main character. It's going to give 13 to the strength, 15 to the dexterity, and 10 to the mind. He gets +1 to mind and +1 to dexterity. So 13 score for strength. The bonus there is going to be +1. Mind is going to be, the score is 15, so that would ordinarily be a +2, so he gets a +3 bonus there because he's a gnome. And then 10 would ordinarily be a 0, so he gets +1 as a gnome there. Alright, and now we need to determine this character's name. I'm going to go ahead and just establish right now we're going to use the same set of names for everybody in the entire continent. It doesn't really matter what species, what the species is. Of course, we can make up some kind of in-universe reason for that. The real reason is I don't have the single name list. So, once again, we need to determine gender in this case because this is my sidekick. It's not necessarily a given that this character is also male. I will roll a d4, and it's going to be odds and evens. So let's figure out. We deal with a male on an odd, female on an even. And that is not necessarily clear from the camera angle, but I do believe that is a 4. So our sidekick character, is female. She is a female gnome. And the name. Alona. Alona what? Okay, so I rolled an 8. An 8 is the name of an estate. So the way I'm going to handle this is I'm going to go ahead and roll a d12 and pick a male name as the prefix to this. But then I'm going to go ahead and add just an onomastic, a toponymic suffix to it as well. Theod. Okay, so Theod, and then I I just need to select the suffix. Okay, so I have an option of 20 different suffixes that I can add to this, and it's going to become the name of an estate. A D20 roll. B. B-Y. So the name of our sidekick is Elona Theodby, Gnomish Expert. Alright, well that's going to do it for the general creation of our characters. The last thing I can go ahead and do if I really want to, and I might as well set this now, is let's figure out what our character is going to be doing in the next episode. I have the way that I'm going to start with Deck of Mini Dungeons as I explained before. The way the rules for the Deck of Mini Dungeons work is you start off by the selection of an initial group. These correspond to the ace cards. So ace, diamonds, ace, clubs, ace of spades, whatever. And we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to just go ahead and I'll roll a d4 to see which card I go ahead and pick with. I don't know why I was shuffling these up. We'll roll a d4. 1 is spades, 2 is hearts, 3 is diamonds, 4 is clubs. How about that? Pretty straightforward, right? Okay, we rolled a 2, so we're going to start the adventure off with the Ace of Hearts. This card right here. Alright, so we have the Ace of Hearts. To determine what our quest is going to be for the first round, we need to go ahead and roll a d8. Alright, we rolled an 8. So let's see what that says, what that corresponds to on the card. So we rolled an 8 on the d8. Our characters are level 1, so that's going to go with this one. Legend's Tale of a rare item inside. Now, okay, so the reason I thought why that was in bold is because there is one of the Joker cards that come with the Deck of Mini Dungeons that lets you know lets you generate various types of items. So in order to determine what type of item we're dealing with, I'm going to have to make 4 d6 rolls, and that's going to be the last thing I have to do in this particular episode. Okay, so we're going to determine a specific item that's going to be on the blue die. The specific item is going to be on the blue die. On the red die, the type, whatever the type of item is. On the orange die, this is going to be who made it. And the value, our yellow die. Let's see what we're dealing with. 2. The item is armor. 4. Glowing armor. 2. Created by halflings. 3. Going to be worth 200 gold pieces. That sounds like a worthy goal for an initial delve. Alright, well that's going to do it. Next time, we're going into the dungeon. We're going to be delving. We're going to be trying to find some glowing armor. I hope that you will tune in and watch that episode with me. I'm, of course, your host, Steve Rogers. Thank you for watching this episode of the Cheapskate Gamer. Hey, if you like the video, please like and subscribe. I do have a personal goal to reach 100,000 subscribers. How I'm going to do it doing this, no idea. But your subscription to the videos do help the algorithm. They do help my channel. They do help me reach that particular goal. If you want to support the show financially, hey, too bad. We are not accepting donations for the Cheapskate Gamer. But you can go, if you want to support solo role-playing in general, you can go support Trevor Duvall over on his Me, Myself, and Die channel. And I would recommend that you guys go ahead and watch that. It's a wonderful show. Anybody who's doing solo RPGs online, they have the bravery to do this. We are a community. We do want to support each other, so please go check him out. I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time on the Cheapskate Gamer.